Hey guys, welcome to Tech Notebook, and this is the fourth video in the ESP8266 Smart Light series. So in this video, we will first start off by creating a few accounts on two sites, IFTTT and Adafruit.io, and we will also need to download a few packages onto the Raspberry Pi. Then we will go on to write all the code that we need for the Google Home commands to reach our Smart Light. So let's get started. So the first thing you'll need to do is to go to io.adafruit.com and click this Get Started for Free button, and then you'll just need to sign up for an account. So now once you've signed up for your account, you will get a dashboard that looks something like this. As you can see, I've already created my home, but I'm going to add a new dashboard just for the purposes of this tutorial. So I'm going to call this Tech Notebook and just create this. And so now we just need to click on this dashboard, and then we will see a blank dashboard right here. So now all we'll need to do is to click create a new block, and in this we will need to add a gauge. So we need to create a new feed name right here, and I will call this feed lamp states. You can call this whatever you want, but make sure you remember this. So now we just need to check this box and go to next step. So now in this block settings, we just need to call this block light state. And for our gauge's minimum value, we can just set that to 0. For the maximum value, we can leave that at 100. And we can leave all these at the default. So for the decimal places, we need 1 decimal place for this, and we can just click create block. So now as you can see, there is a gauge in our dashboard. So that's all we need to do in Adafruit.io. So now we need to go to IFTTT. So now we need to go create an account in IFTTT. So what you have to do is go sign up and continue with any of these options. So now that you've signed in, you'll be greeted with a page that looks something like this. And so what you'll need to do is just go and click Explore. So now in this Explore page, you will just need to click this Create button right here, and you'll be greeted with this page. So this is basically the main template for IFTTT. So there is a trigger and there is an action. So let's click this plus sign right here, and we need to trigger an action when we say something to the Google Assistant. So here we have a Google Assistant trigger, and when you click that, it should ask you to sign in to your Google account, and then you'll need to sign into the Google account that your Google Home is on. So now that you've done that, you'll just need to click say a simple phrase, and in here it'll ask you, what do you want to say? Turn on maker light. And then another way to say it is turn maker light on and turn the maker light on. And what do you want the assistant to say in response? Let's just say okay, turning on maker light. So now we can just click create trigger, and then now we have the plus sign next to that. So we just need to click that, and right here we see that there is the Adafruit action. We just click that, and then here we can click send data to Adafruit.io, and right before that you will probably also get a login page, so you'll need to sign in to your Adafruit account right here as well. So we just need to click here, add lamp states into here, and the data to save in here is just a 1, so that we know it is going to turn on. Create action, wait for it, and it will have this finishing page. So we just need to click finish, and now it says you've made a new connection. Now we just need to go back, and now we just need to go and click explore. So now we're back in the Explorer. We need to create a new applet. Click this, go again to Google Assistant. Say a simple phrase, what do you want to say? Turn off maker light. Turn the maker light off. And turn off the maker light. And what do you want the assistant to say in response? We can just say, okay. Turning off the maker light. Okay. So now we just need to click create trigger. And then in that we just need to go back into Adafruit and send data to Adafruit.io. Again, it's in the lamp states. And then data to save is a 0 because we're turning off the light. Now we just need to click create action and wait for the action to complete. And it says review and finish. Just want to click finish right here. And as you can see, we've made another new connection. So that's all we need to do in IFTTT. And now let's start the coding portion on the Raspberry Pi. So now we are in the Raspberry Pi code portion of this tutorial. So the first thing you'll need to do is to go to this GitHub page, which I have linked in the description. And once you've done that, we will also need to SSH into our Raspberry Pi. The way we do that is just type in the IP address of the Raspberry Pi into PuTTY. So we are now logged into the Raspberry Pi, and the first thing we'll need to do is to type in this command, which is pip install paho-mqtt, and you just want to press enter. And now it will install the Paho MQTT package. And as you can see, I already have it downloaded, but you will have to go through a setup script. And we will need to type in sudo apt-get install mosquito. And it's spelled MOSQUITTO. Just press enter. And this will be our MQTT broker. So now what we'll need to do is to open up this Adafruit io.py file, and we will need to just copy everything in this file, and then we need to create a new file in the SSH. So to do that, we just need to type in nano, and I'll call this Adafruit test.py. You need to click enter, and you'll see there is a blank file right here. You just want to right click, and it will paste everything into this file. So now there are a few things that we need to change in this file. First thing we'll need to change is this user and key. So the way you get this is by going into Adafruit.io and just clicking this Adafruit.io key button. So right here you'll see your username and active key. So you'll need to paste the username into this user section right here, and the active key into the key area right here. So now that you've entered that, you'll need to scroll down a bit, and as you can see, we have a topic that we'll need to subscribe to. And the way we get that topic is, let's go to our dashboard, and you will see that there is a gauge right here. Next to that we'll have the topic that you set. So you'll just need to click this light state topic or whatever you set that to be. And as you can see, there is a path right here, your username /feeds / the topic that you set. You'll just need to type all that out into here. So for me, it would be my username /feeds /lamp states. So now we need to just click Control X, Y, and then enter. So now we'll need to create a new file, and I'm going to call it mqtt-read.py. Just click enter, and you can see that we have a new file that's blank. So now what we'll need to do is to go into our main repository and click mqtt-filereader.py. So now we need to basically copy everything in this file and paste all that into this file with a right click. So now here are all the things that we will need to paste into here. So the first thing we'll need to paste in is the Raspberry Pi's IP, which would be right here. So it would be something like 192.168.something.something. So now we need to scroll down a bit. Until we find this ESP8266 topic right here. So in place of this, you will need to type in the topic that you created when you wrote the Node MCU code in the Arduino IDE. And we will also need to change this topic. So just change this to whatever you like, but make sure you note it down because we will need that later. So now you need to go right here and type in that exact same topic here as well. And once you've done that, that's the end of this file. So you just press Ctrl X, Y, and Enter. So now we're done with this SSH, so we can close out of it. Accept that. And then now we need to open up our remote desktop. So we just need to go RDP, press Enter, and connect to the Raspberry Pi there. So now we need to enter our username and password, which is Pi and Raspberry. And as you can see, we are now greeted with this screen. So now in the remote desktop, the first thing we will need to do is to open up our file manager. And so inside this file manager, we'll need to right click and click Create New. And so in here, we'll just need to click Empty File. And in this prompt, we'll need to type in mqtt.txt. But I already have this file, so I'm just going to click Cancel, but you'll need to click OK. So then here are all the files that we need. So you might be wondering what our Raspberry Pi code actually does. So let me show you. So we have the Adafruit IO broker, and then we also have, let me label this so you can tell what it is. IO, and we also have our Adafruit IO code running on our Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to label that AIO-RP. And then we have a mqtt.txt file. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to call it MQ. And then we also have our MQTT reader file, which is, I'm just going to call it reader. And then finally, we have the Node MCU. So I'm going to call this MCU. So what happens is when the Adafruit IO gets the message in the Google Home, it'll send the Raspberry Pi program a message, since the Raspberry Pi program actually subscribes to this. So then this Raspberry Pi program will write the message that it gets to this MQTT file, and this reader file will read what's on the MQTT file and also delete it. So it'll basically, so if there's a 1 here, the reader file will read that there's a 1 and then delete that 1 from the file, and it'll publish that 1 down to the Node MCU. So this is a pretty roundabout way of actually doing it. This is the only way that I could think of where I could have 2 MQTT brokers that I'm connecting to. So I just have separate programs doing both of those. So yeah, now that you've seen how it works, let's go back into our remote desktop, and we'll need to open up 2 terminal windows. First terminal window we'll need to open, and we'll need to type in Python 3 and then we'll need to run the program. So I'm going to run Adafruit first. Adafruit.py, press enter, and it is connected. So we can move this aside, and let's open up another terminal window. So now I'm going to go type in Python 3 mqttread.py, press enter, and as you can see it is connected. So now I'm going to ask Google Home to turn on the Maker lamp. Hey Google, turn on Maker lamp. And as you can see, both of these values have populated here, and the values have published. And once you've run both of the programs, what you can do is just close out of this remote desktop, and the programs will continue to run on the Raspberry Pi. Now as you can see, I've closed out of the desktop, and if I connect again, let's go Pi and Raspberry, they're still running. Hey Google, turn on Maker lamp.
Okay, turning on the Maker lamp.
Hey Google, turn off Maker lamp.
Okay, turning off Maker lamp.
So that being said, that is the end of this video and the end of the ESP8266 Smart Light series. I hope you enjoyed doing this project as much as I did. If you did, make sure you hit like and get subscribed, and I will see you in the next video.